Hello and welcome to the Untranslatable Podcast. Today we are recording episode 100, quite the milestone. We are now officially into triple digits, and we are so excited to bring you our 100th episode. And today we will be doing kind of a recap of what we've been up to these first 100 episodes and what we're planning on doing in the future, hopefully for our next 100 episodes as well. I have a slew of untranslatables from our 100 episodes that I will be quizzing Jared on later. So we'll have kind of a untranslatable extravaganza. So that should be a lot of fun as well. And we're looking forward to giving you a little recap of what we've been doing for these 100 episodes, especially if you're just tuning into the Untranslatable Podcast. So without further ado, my amazing co-host, the guy I could not do this without, by no means, my buddy Jared. What's going on, Jared?
The big 100. This is quite the milestone. What a great way to celebrate the milestone by spreading a little love and following us on iTunes, following us on Instagram, Untranslatable. I mean, you can subscribe on iTunes if you want to. Following us on Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast, Twitter, Untranslatable1, the number 1. Interact with us. Tell us what's up. Give us some topic ideas. Give us some new untranslatables, which are idioms, sayings, proverbs, maybe an axiom, you know, if you're into that. Or you can really spread a little love. Spread a little love with those 5-star reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. And also, if you're curious about some of these untranslatables that we've been talking about, and you want to refer to them without having to fast forward and rewind through the episodes, go to untranslatablepodcast.com and check them out. Oh, untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. Hey, everyone, I bet you didn't know Chad had a cleft chin. What, I didn't really know that either. What motivated this not clean shave
The
look?
beard trim?
Yeah. I mean, this is a deep trim. This is more than trim.
I'll zoom in a little bit for our viewers on YouTube.
Check us out on YouTube to see Chad's new look.
I don't know, man. I have like this beard trimmer that I brought here with me. I always try to bring like very basic things when I travel abroad, even if it's for 10 months. I have a better set of clippers back in the States, but I bought this little wall battery powered beard trimmer, and it only has 3 guards on it. Right? One guard is like super long, and it's to the point where when you try to use it, I have to go like 3, 4, 5 months without it even cutting anything off of it. So I don't really use that one. Then there's another guard, and I was using the other guard. And as I was doing it, I was like, okay, this is a decent length. And then I got up here, though, the sideburns with the guard, but I went against the grain. And it got it really short and kind of stubbly. And I was like, this looks kind of cool. I'm just going to try to go short and stubbly all the way around. And it's been really hot here, actually, in the Czech Republic. It's been in the mid-80s, and it went from like 60s to 80s. There was no transition in between. I don't do great with hot weather. I'm always warm as it is. And so I figured, well, maybe the beard trim will cool me off a little bit. Don't think it really helped, but why not?
It cooled you off in another way. You look cool.
Well, I appreciate it.
When you shave, now this is something I don't struggle with, but like, what do you do with the hair? Like, where do you shave at?
So tip for all of our bearded brothers and sisters out there. I'm not here to discriminate.
Come on, it's 2019.
I usually put either a garbage bag or a plastic bag in the sink, and then I trim over it, and I collect all the hairs in there, and then I just throw them away. That's usually what I do.
That's a way better thing than that. I use like a towel and do it into that.
That works too, I guess.
Yeah, but then you got to figure out what to do with the towel. Like the other day, I stuck my head out the window to see if anyone was around, and I took the towel outside and shook it outside.
Right.
But yeah. And, you know, as I've been saying for the past however many months that I'm an unemployed person, not anymore, bitch.
Fun employed, actually.
But yeah, well, now it's fun employed because I know I have a place to go to in a month. First thing that I want to do is recommend, this is great timing too, perfect for us to do a returning home episode together.
Yep.
Back in the home state of Michigan, because that's where I'll be soon.
Big news.
Yeah. And so I think our first pod together, not our first one together, but our first one together in a while, can
In
be
months,
about
yeah.
Our experience coming back home and how we both feel about it. Because we've both, I mean, you've only been gone for 10 months, but I haven't been living in Michigan for 4 years.
Right.
And it's exciting to go back home, but I'm also interested to see what it's like. You know, what do I miss? Like, what am I like? Oh, they don't have this anymore. This is gone. Now it's this.
Right.
Because I'm sure that will be the case too.
Sure. Yeah. Good old capitalism, man. What can you do? You know.
To new beginnings.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, it really is. And I think this podcast has been a great way for both of us to document what has been going on. And we love the fact that we are able to share our stories and experiences with all of you. Mm-hmm. And we would also love to hear more of your stories and experiences as well. And you can send those our way at untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. We would love to share those stories as well. And I have to say, man, it's been really kind of an emotional week at school for a few reasons. One, because next week will actually be my last week with one of the classes I will be teaching, because the other 2 weeks, I think they go on a school trip 1 week, and the last week of school, they're with their home teacher. So in the Czech Republic, at our school, they have a home teacher that's like their main teacher, kind of like what I had at my public school when I was in like 3rd or 4th grade, where we had a home teacher that was like the one we always reported to for important stuff. And so it's really starting to hit me that my time is slowly coming to an end here. Mm-hmm. And I think from years to come, I'll be able to look back at our podcast and see what I was doing, what I was thinking about, what was on my mind during my time here, which has been great. And I really hope all of our listeners out there have enjoyed my crazy ride here in Chomutov. It's been a great one.
Yeah, I have. And I'm sure there are more crazy rides to come.
You better believe it.
But yeah, that's all. That's all I have. Do you want to spread a little love?
I'll do that. I can ask you afterwards. So yeah, I have a few shout-outs today. And my first shout-out goes out to a gentleman named Ajit, who is from India. And Ajit Singh was 18 when he attended a wedding in his hometown near Varanasi in 1988. He saw the word is notch. This is from betterindia.com, so this must be more of an Indian word. It's in italics. But basically, from what I've read, is Ajit met this woman who was actually either an exotic dancer or a prostitute. I'm not really sure. She had 3 children, and he asked her if he could adopt her children and take care of them because she was struggling to take care of them. Ever since, Ajit has been doing tons to give back to the community and help out in red light areas of Varanasi to teach the children and women who have been part of the sex trade and different things. And he has saved tons and tons of girls, adopted them, helped them out. And it says he has rescued over 1,000 girls so far from red light areas in Varanasi. So big shout out to you, Mr. Singh. That's absolutely amazing. This is really a guy I think that we can all look up to and is very commendable for his actions.
I wonder how that conversation goes. Like when you're asking someone if you could adopt their kids.
I'm not.
Hey, you're a terrible mother. Can I take your kids?
Well, but I don't think it was because she was a terrible mother. I think it's. I mean, look, I would say most people don't work in the sex trade unless they're really on hard times or if they're forced into it by sex trafficking. Right.
Right.
So I'm sure he knew that these children didn't have much of a chance. And so I think it's really amazing. And now he's also been helping rehabilitate these rescued girls and teaching them various skills so they can switch to other professions. So this guy has gone above and beyond to help all these girls lead a better life in India, which I think is absolutely amazing and incredibly heartwarming.
Yeah. All right. Good job. My first one is a little more lighthearted. It involves children. For the first time in the 94-year history, the Scripps National Spelling Bee named not 1, not 2, but 8 co-winners.
Oh, wow.
All between the ages of 12 and 14, who called themselves the Octo Champs.
I like that name.
Rashik,
the Octo Champs. That's awesome.
I'm gonna give you a little quiz. So,
okay. Well, are you going to make me spell some words?
Yeah, they have the word that each of these students won with.
Okay.
Rashik Gandhasri. That's how you say it, Gandhasri. His winning word was... now I'm going to sound like an idiot. I'm going to write these down in my... oh, Jesus. And actually spell them or pronounce them right. I'm going to guess it's Auslout.
If you can't pronounce them, how do you expect me to spell them?
That's a good point. That's why I'm pulling up my dictionary. But of course, now my phone's going slow.
Give me another word. Is there another one you can actually pronounce on their list?
How dare you? All right, I got it. Oh, God, this is also the problem with having my phone in German. Is that might be a German word as well or something. Why is it translating it in German? Oh, okay. This did not go as smoothly as I was hoping it would go. All right, here it is.
Auslaut.
Okay, that's German.
That's German. That one is Auslaut. Auslaut.
Damn it! You stupid German. They ruined it. This is why you can't do spelling bees in German.
Is that how it's spelled in English
as well? Of course.
Okay.
But I'm sure it's not pronounced anything like that.
Auslaut. What does that even mean in English?
I'll tell you. Auslaut English.
Interesting.
Everything is giving me. You know what I need? I need like a Merriam-Webster. Oh, here it is. Auslaut is final sound in a word or syllable. Oh, that's exactly what it would sound like, I guess.
Because and they took that from German, actually.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's
Obviously.
what I mean. It's exactly what you would think if you speak German.
Right. Interesting. Okay, give me another word. That was too easy being a German speaker. That was too easy.
That wasn't fair. Fair. Off to a great start, Jared. This is going just as smoothly as I thought it would. I'm literally right now downloading the Merriam-Webster dictionary so I don't make this mistake again. Erin Howard. Her winning word was... Jeez, I'm a real idiot. Erysipelas.
What?
You heard me.
Say
is
it
an infection. Infection typically with a skin rash, usually on any of the legs, toes, blah, 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 blah.
Can you say it one more time?
I mean, I could do my best. Ugh. God, sorry, I'm looking at pictures and it is rough. Erysipelas.
A-R-I... Syphilis or syphilis?
Syphilis.
So Arissippulus.
No,
is
not
right?
even close.
No, damn. What is it?
You were off at the first letter.
Oh, is it E?
Yeah.
Oh, E-R-I.
Nope.
No, okay, what is it?
Erysipelas.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I would not have gotten that one.
All right. Now I downloaded the dictionary. Let's see if I can. If they have. Oh, here we go.
Erysipelas.
Oh, I pronounced it right.
Erysipelas.
Erysipelas. All right. Now I can do this without being as. All right. Abhijay Kadali. The winning word was Palama.
Palama?
Palama.
I've never heard any of these words.
The dictionary doesn't even know what this word is.
So it's not a real word.
And nothing came up.
Let's see here. Palama. Is it A or O? I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to go, Palama. Is it polema or is it Palama?
Palama.
All right. Well, I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to go Polema.
Nope.
No?
Palama. Palama is the webbing on the feet of aquatic birds.
Oh, of course. How could I forget the webbing on the feet of aquatic birds?
I mean, that part's obvious.
Right.
But winner number 4, Shrutika Padhi, and her word was. Let me just type this one in. Jesus Christ, These kids are smart. All right. This is Shrutika's word.
Aiguillette.
What?
A shoulder cord worn by designated military aides.
Aiguillette?
Aiguillette.
I mean, it's definitely French, right? Or at least that's where the origins are from. It sounds French.
It sounds like it. I don't know. Oh yeah, it says right here. First used in 1792 in French.
Aiguillette. I don't know.
Aiguillette.
A-G...
No.
Or sorry, A-Q-U? No. E-Q... I have not... Give it to me. What is it?
A-I-G-U-I-L-E-T-T-E.
Okay. This just makes me feel like such a terrible speller right now.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, I can't even pronounce these words, so...
I feel less bad.
In the dictionary, I can't even find some of these words, so... Rohan Raja, his winning word that he spelled was odyllic.
Odyllic?
I guess I don't know where to put the emphasis. But it's... Here we go. Oh, well...
Audio.
Odyllic.
Okay.
Odyllic.
A-D-Y-L-L-I-C?
No.
What is it?
O-D-Y-L-I-C.
I'm 0 for 4 or 5 at this point?
Yes. I mean, I'm 0 for 5 on pronouncing. No, you got Auslaut right?
Oh, that's true.
Christopher, all right, we got a couple more. This is so much fun. Christopher Sarao, his word was cernuous.
I don't even know.
Another word that the Merriam-Webster dictionary can't even find.
So how's it spelled?
C-E-R-N-U-O-U-S.
Yeah, I would have gotten that one wrong for sure. Wouldn't have even been close.
Cernuous is inclining or nodding.
Uh-huh.
I don't really know what that means either. Let's see if I can even get the. Hold on, here we go.
Cernuous.
Cernuous, okay.
Soham Sukhatankar. Suhatankar. His winning word was pedaloke.
Pedaloke. P-E-T...
Nope.
What is it? P-E-D?
Pedaloke. Yep.
P-E-D-A-L-O-Q-U-E.
Oh, excuse me. I'm wrong. Pendaloke.
What? God damn it, Jared. P-E-N... So then P-E-N-D...
Yeah.
Pendaloke. Oh. P-E-N-D... A...
I thought you had this one.
Is it I?
No.
Or E?
Pendeloke.
So P-E-N-D-E-L-O-Q-U-E.
There you go. After a little slight, and that is
coaching.
a pearl-shaped modification of the round, brilliant cut used for diamonds and other gemstones. All right, one more. Saketh Sundar's winning word was woo. Jesus Christ, that seems unfair. Let me just type this one in. All right, here we go. I'm really looking to see if I don't have to say this, but I think I might have to say it. All right. His winning word was bougainvillea, which is a kind of flower.
Give it to me. I don't even know.
Bougainvillea.
Also French.
Yeah, probably. All those people made it through 5 consecutive perfect rounds, spelling all of the final 47 words correctly. So they literally just ran out of words to give them.
That's crazy. That's wild.
Each of them received $50,000 in prize money and a Scripps Cup. I love how... Yeah,
wait, 50,000?
Yeah, 12 to 14.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Man, that's some good money right there.
Get a new Benzie or something.
Right.
Yeah, so shout out to those kids. Clearly they're smarter than us. At least that's spelling. I don't know if they could do other stuff, but...
I don't think they could get our Untranslatables.
No, probably not. I mean, can they do anything other than spell at this point? Because these people, all they do is just like spend like copious amounts of time just like studying dictionaries, learning, I guess, patterns when it comes to like, okay, if it's a country of origin here, you can assume that these letters would probably be what make up the word, or if it's this country of origin, assume that. I wonder if they have like, I mean, none of these people look like they're sports stars, I'll say that. Now, why am I shitting on these children now?
Yeah, it's time to spread the love, Jared. What are you doing?
Spread the love.
Well, I'm going to give my final shout out today to Ethiopia because they are planting 4 billion trees to fight deforestation.
Jeez,
so
billion.
This is the equivalent of 40 per person. So 4 billion trees equivalent. Sorry, did I say 40? I meant 4 billion.
4 you said 4 billion.
Equivalent to 40 per person in Africa, in Africa's second most populous nation, will be planted across Ethiopia to fight deforestation. The ambitious campaign is an effort to improve the barren rural landscape and leafless cities, where tree cover has fallen from 35% in the early 20th century to 13%. So, big shout out to Ethiopia, making some big moves. Best of luck to all of you planting those trees. That's absolutely fantastic.
I can't even comprehend that. Like 4 billion trees. That's crazy.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty wild.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now, are you ready for episode 100's Untranslatable?
You better believe it.
This is so exciting.
You better believe it. Well, Jared, I have a couple favorites from a bunch of our episodes that you all can find on our website, untranslatablepodcast.com, which Jared has very kindly uploaded and written some very good descriptions for them, if I do say so myself. I enjoyed reading them.
Thanks.
A couple of them definitely made me chuckle, that's for sure. So I want to give you some of these, Jared, and see if you remember what they mean. And I pulled out some of my favorite Czech ones as well.
Okay.
So I'll start off with the Czech one. I'll start you off easy, Jared. So this one is To není moje parketa, which means this is not your parquet or your dance floor.
Oh, it's like this. You don't know what you're talking about. You're not an expert on this, essentially.
Exactly. This is not your expertise.
Mm-hmm. Like you could kind of say like, don't we have something like that regarding rodeos?
Well, we would say this isn't my first rodeo.
There we go. Okay, but that's a little different. That's a little different, though.
Yeah. What would we say for that? You're right. I'm trying to think. This isn't your.
I'm sure we
have one. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it'll come to us later.
Can I give you one? I have 2 new ones.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I'd love to hear them.
My first one is Georgian, and it's Shvida Paraskevi Aksv Digeshi.
One more time.
Rolls off the tongue. Shvida Paraskevi Aksv Digeshi. That was a little better. Probably not. To have seen Fridays a day. Oh, excuse me. Wow. To have 7 Fridays a day. That makes way more sense.
That means you're just having a good time all the time, yeah?
No, but that's obviously where both of our heads would have gone for that one. That makes sense. But no.
Having 7 Fridays a day. Was that it?
Yes.
Having 7 Fridays a day. When you can't be focused, you're distracted all the time?
I'll give it to you.
The judges accepted, all right.
Yeah, the judges reluctantly accepted it. I'll tell you what the meaning actually is. The idiom describes a person who constantly changes their character or opinion on a topic, or who is indecisive.
Okay, indecisive. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't know if the judges on my end would have given me that one, but I appreciate your and the judges' generosity over there.
It's episode 100. We're feeling generous.
I'll give you a new one, Jared. A new Czech one for you.
Okay, I was wondering when you said some Czech ones. I was like, are any of these new?
Yes, I have one new one for you, which is mít někoho rád jako lišku v korníku, which means to love someone like a fox in a hen house.
Oh, it's to like be madly in love with someone.
Nope. Do you
Like
think
a
a fox? Do foxes love chickens?
I assume they love eating them.
Okay.
Oh, is it like to love someone for all the wrong reasons?
I could see why you would think that, but no. Basically, this means that you do not like somebody at all.
Oh, okay.
You love them like a fox in a hen house.
Okay, I get you. My first thought was it's like, well, the fox would love to be in that hen house because
Of course.
it would be having a feast.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Okay, I have one more new one, and it's Maltese, and it's Mahunks min ibul ma sakwak. Jeez. Mahunks min ibul ma sakwak.
Which means?
There is nobody to urinate against your legs.
There's nobody to urinate against your legs. I don't even know where to begin with this one. Nobody. Yeah.
In the area of translating untranslatables, no one can urinate against our legs.
Oh, so no one. Oh, so like there's no competition. No one can keep up.
You are unparalleled in the field of whatever we are discussing. And when it comes to untranslatables, we're unparalleled.
You better believe it. You better believe it. All right, Jared, I'm going to do a rapid fire of German untranslatables we've had and see how your German's doing. Also, I'm doing this because I talked to the German teacher at my school today, and I had some difficulty communicating with her. And she even asked me, she was like, when was the last time you spoke German? And I was like, damn, okay. Just
calling
throw me
you out like that?
Yeah, called me out like it. So here we go. First one, Jared, is what does Fingerspitzengefühl mean?
I don't know what Spitzen would be, but finger something feel.
Spitze is the top of a mountain or the tip.
Okay.
Fingerspitzengefühl.
Fingertip feel.
Uh-huh.
Oh, is it like a fingertip feel? It's not like it's on the tip of my tongue. I remember this one.
No. So I would say, Jared, we have developed a Fingerspitzengefühl for uncoding untranslatables.
Oh, it's like a sixth sense almost, or the
ability to act with tact and sensitivity.
Okay.
Right, you got that fingertip feeling.
Right, that makes sense.
So let me give you some more German ones. Hör auf, den heißen Brei herumzureden.
Stop with the hot... What's Brei?
Brei is broth.
Oh. Stop talking around the hot broth? Oh, I remember this one. That means, like, stop the gossiping.
Nope.
Wow. Apparently I don't remember. Wait.
Stop beating around the bush.
Oh, right.
Stop beating around the bush, right?
Man, my finger was hovering over that ham horn, and I had to back away.
Right.
That was a sad moment.
How about this one, Jared? Drachenfutter.
So it's like dragon fodder. Feed. Excuse me. Feed.
Or fodder, yeah.
And is that gossip? Okay.
So,
jeez,
Jared, you'll be moving to Michigan in a month, and perhaps your lady is not so happy about that, and so you bring her some flowers or some Drachenfutter.
Oh, to like butter her up.
It's basically any type of gift to say sorry for something.
Right.
Yeah, which I think is pretty funny. Okay, Jared, what is a Treppenwitz?
Like a step joke?
Yep, or staircase joke or step joke, yeah.
Is that like it's not like a practical joke, is it?
No.
Staircase joke, step joke. I have no idea. I really don't know. Maybe I'm not professional at untranslatable decoding.
Treppenwitz is usually a phrase when you want to say a witty comeback, but you came up with it way too late. So you're already walking. Yeah, right. It's the worst. It's like when you're walking up the steps after a conversation and somebody might have roasted you or thrown a party at you, and then the Treppenwitz came to mind.
You try to yell it back at them, but you're way too far away already. Oh, I hate that.
Exactly.
That happens to me all the time.
Oh, for sure. How about Schnee von gestern?
Snow from yesterday. Mm-hmm. Is that like old news?
Hit that ham horn, my man.
There we go.
You better believe it. Okay, jetzt haben wir den Salat.
Oh, it's like now we're cooking with gas. Now we have the salad.
Nope. You made that same mistake when we did this one.
I could tell. I was too quick. But it literally means now we have the salad.
Uh-huh.
And it's like now we understand each other?
Nope.
No, that's kind of the same as now we're cooking with gas.
Yep. Before we recorded this, I almost didn't hit the video record button. And then say we would have gotten halfway through and you would look and be like, well, now we have the salad.
Oh, it's like we messed up?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Yep. So here you go. Jetzt kannst du die Suppe aber selbst auslöffeln.
Now you can spoon your own soup.
Uh-huh. Which means?
Now you can spoon your own soup. It's like you don't need my help. You got it, essentially.
Yeah, not in the mood to help someone clean up their own mess. Basically, we say like you made your bed, now lay in it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Lie in it, but yeah.
Exactly.
Isn't it lie? Wouldn't that be the right way to?
Yeah. That's the difference between descriptive and prescriptive grammar for you, Jared.
Yeah, I always hear people say lay. I would never be one to correct people outside of the Untranslatable podcast. But I always kind of want to. People use lay way too much because it's like, that's not what that's for.
So, Jared, what are some of I have a couple favorite Czech untranslatables and just some other ones from our episodes that I've really enjoyed. And I'm wondering if you have any as well.
I wouldn't say I have any favorites, but I did want to go over some of our very first untranslatables.
Okay.
I thought that would be interesting. So I started easy looking at all these languages that I have. Now I get into the languages that I've never even heard of. But the very first one that I have written down here was actually episode 2. What did we do in episode 1? I don't even remember.
World Cup.
Oh, right.
World Cup, number 1.
Episode 2 was cultural mishaps and misunderstandings.
Uh-huh.
And the first one that I gave was French, and it was C'est le petit Jésus en culotte de velours.
Which is it's like baby Jesus in velvet pants or velvet underpants or something.
Look at that.
I only remember that because that's one of my favorite untranslatables. And it means when something's delicious, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like a fine wine.
Yes. It's like baby Jesus and velvet underpants, like the Untranslatable podcast. It's like baby Jesus and velvet underpants. Another one, that's a French one. Let me do a different one. Well, you give me one.
Another favorite one.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. There are a lot of really, really good ones that we've
One of my
had.
personal favorite ones is Mama Hoo Hoo. They had a great story behind it, and I'm always happy when Untranslatable makes the soundboard. And so Mama Hoo Hoo was horse, horse, tiger, tiger. And the story behind it was there was a guy that exclusively drew, I think it was horses.
Yeah, he painted horses, yeah.
And someone asked him to draw a tiger, and it looked like a mix of a horse and a horse and a tiger had sex and made a baby. And when you're asked how'd the painting turn out, you would say Mama Hoo Hoo, which means so.
Right.
It's just okay.
Right. And we hope that you think that the Untranslatable podcast is not Mama Hoo Hoo. That's for sure.
We hope you think
Parada. Exactly. And the story behind that drop, parada, it means excellent or great in Czech. And I was at the bank with my mentor opening up my Czech bank account, which I actually need to close very soon. And I was talking to my mentor, and the woman, was like doing her notes or whatever, and she said parada, and I asked my mentor, what does that mean? And she told me. And then once we were finished with everything, I thought, I'm gonna flex on this bank teller lady. And I said parada, and she had a big smile on her face, and she was laughing. So yeah.
Výborný.
And that one means excellent.
Yes.
But yeah. Anyways, one of my favorite, which is great, is it's Japanese, and it's ganbatte, which is like, do your best, stick with it, stay strong, hang in there. Which Jared, and I think a lot of our listeners by now, I love anything that's wholesome and positive and can be a little cheesy, and I really like ganbatte
I do
for
too.
this reason.
The Japanese ones are tough too because so many of theirs don't have a direct translation. Like
Right.
I've seen a lot of untranslatables that I liked what they meant, but I'm not that I won't ever use them, but I haven't used them just because a lot of them don't have direct translations.
Right.
I would, we're on episode 100. I would say that you and I avoir le dent long. You and I have long teeth.
Oh man, I remember you asking me this one long time ago with long teeth.
Or you would even say avoir le dent qui rien le parquet. We have the teeth that scratch the floor. I'd say you have long teeth. I have this teeth that scratch the floor.
You have you have long teeth. I don't remember
that's so
this
mean.
one.
Well, to have long teeth means to be ambitious. To have teeth that scratch the floor means to be extremely ambitious.
Aha, I see. Okay, fair enough. One of my favorites, because this applies to all of the corny jokes I tell, is Jayas, which is
yes.
Indonesian. And what
I
does
remember that
Jayas
one.
mean, Jared?
That's a joke that's so lame that you have to laugh at it, essentially.
Right.
Or so, cheesy
Right.
that you can't help but laugh at it. Yeah. I forgot about this one. Let's see if you remember this one. Because I remember you didn't get it when we did this one, and I felt like you should have. This is from episode 11, which was what was episode 11? I can't even find it. Italian Excursion Edition. Interesting. And it was Techen Heliab, which is liquid bread.
Oh, it's just drinking your dinner.
You still
beer.
didn't get it.
Beer.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Beer.
Yeah, it's beer.
Okay. I'll give you an Afrikaans one, which I like. As die Himmel fall, is ons allemaal dood.
Oh, yeah.
If heaven falls, we're all dead, is what that means.
Yes. We actually have a clip about that one on our Instagram if you're interested, anyone. If the heaven falls, we're all dead. It's like you only got one life, so live it good.
It means you shouldn't worry about things that are out of your control.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Do you have any more you want to do? We could do this all day long. We have a lot.
Yeah,
of them.
let me just run off my favorite Czech ones, and then we can move on.
Oh, right. Yes,
to our
please.
main segment. Okay, so my one of my absolute favorites is tam kdy dawaj lišky dobrou noc, which means where the foxes say goodnight.
Is that like middle of nowhere?
Yep, very good. Middle of
BFE,
nowhere. Yep.
Sorry, I wouldn't.
And then this one, Když ptačka lapají, pěkně mu zpívají, which means basically when you want to trap a bird, you sing to it nicely.
When you want to trap a bird, like how the British people say bird,
That's right.
is it like you as we would say, you catch? Oh, geez, why do I do this to myself? You catch
Oh, yeah,
more
I know what you're
flies
trying to say.
being flies
With honey.
with honey, but you catch more honeys being flies. Essentially, with that.
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
Actually,
buddy.
Glad I actually
Yeah,
got that
buddy.
right for the first time, probably ever.
And my last one, I mean, I could do this for hours, but I like this one. Vyspat se do růžová, which means to sleep until pink or to sleep until rosy.
Is that like to get your beauty sleep, essentially?
Yep. Yeah, great night's sleep. Okay. And actually, let me end us with this one, because this one's kind of funny. Jeden prd je nejlepší než 10 doktorů. One fart is better than 10 doctors.
I don't remember this one. One fart is better than 10 doctors. It's like, is that like saying that like everybody farts or something, and it's like it's a great feeling?
Not quite. We have a phrase in English. We say better.
Safe than sorry.
Nope. Well, we do say that.
Okay.
Better out than in.
Oh, okay. Oh, I
Better
got you.
out than in. So that's a good one.
Gross.
Anyways, let's move on to our main segment, a recap and a discussion about these 100 episodes. And before we do that, though, Jared, I would like to ask you, and I'm sure some of our listeners who have started listening later on maybe don't really know why we started this podcast and what kind of our goal is with this podcast. So I'm curious to hear your 2 cents about that, and then I'll add my 2 cents as well.
Well, I like talking into the ether, for one. No. I feel like we knew we wanted to start a podcast before we knew what we wanted it to be about. But this seemed like the obvious thing. We always talk about wanting to travel places. We always talk about, not always, but we talk a lot about German and our experiences in Germany and Austria and stuff. And I don't remember, I wonder if you remember, because I don't think I do, how we even got to make the Untranslatables the main part of it. How did that come up?
I do remember.
Did you just say
perfectly. So to all of our listeners out there, when we first got started, to give a little background, it was summer of 2018. Summer of 2018, and I was finishing up my master's, and Jared and I had been talking for a while about doing some type of podcast. We had gotten the Twitter and all this other crap set up for the name Traveling Circus, because we wanted to have a podcast focused on travel. We were thinking of titles, which also is a lesson for everybody. Never go with your first title.
Yeah,
because that was a trash title. Yeah, me too. I'm so glad we decided to go with Untranslatables. But we were talking before our first episode, and I think I told you, I said, yeah, it'd be fun to do like some untranslatable phrases and have each other guess them, or have one untranslatable. At first, I thought it would be cool to find like one untranslatable phrase, which is, an idiom, a word, a saying in another language that literally doesn't translate into English. Usually we can finagle them in some way where they make sense, but word for word, they don't translate. Therefore, they're an untranslatable. And so then we were talking, we were on FaceTime, we were talking, and I think my ex-girlfriend was even in my apartment when we were talking. I was sitting in my little desk at the window, and I was like, yeah, we should do some untranslatables. And then I think you and I kind of looked at each other, and I turned to my ex-girlfriend at the time and said, what do you think about the name Untranslatable? She said, that sounds pretty good. And you were like, yeah.
And we changed everything.
And that's how we got our start as the Untranslatable Podcast, and haven't looked back since.
No.
Yeah. And so I think our mission, or our goal with this podcast, is to promote the love of learning language, travel, give you guys tips and tricks. I wouldn't say that we're professional travelers. I mean, there are plenty of people who actually are professional travel bloggers, and that's how they make their income. But we've done plenty of traveling over the years. I think between the two of us, we've been on, 4 different continents?
Yeah, probably. Europe. Oh, no, 3. Europe, US.
North America. Europe, North America. You've been to Africa.
Yeah, a couple times.
The Caribbean's not really a continent.
No.
I've been to Central America, but that's still the Americas.
That's still North America, isn't it?
Yeah. So 3 continents. But hey, better than just one continent, right?
For now. The podcast is not over yet. Who knows what we'll be. That is true.
We'll be adding another continent shortly, so keep your eyes and ears open for that as well.
Look at that cliffhanger.
There you go. But yeah, and so we wanted to... Then the other thing is we wanted to start doing the shoutouts, because at least I feel like there's that was 100% me, is because there's just a lot of negativity in the world. And I've been reading a book, a really, really good book that you should check out, Jared, and all of our listeners. It's called, what is it called? It's called like Giving Less Fucks or something like that. Hold up.
Really?
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
1 second here. Let me see what it's called, what the official title is. The Subtle Art, here we go. It was much better title than my title. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. Fantastic book. Give it a read, everybody. But what Mark Manson talks about in this book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, is how a lot of people nowadays get kind of this high or this enjoyment of being outraged. Like my dad does this all the time. He watches CNN and gets angry and outraged at all the crap that, our administration is doing. And he gets outraged, but it's like this never-ending cycle, right? You turn on CNN, you get this very liberal news saying all the negative things that our administration is doing, which is not to say it's not negative, but it's spun in a way and worded in a way that will make you more outraged than I think you might be if you read a more neutral news source.
So what is that? A more neutral news source.
I think The Hill is pretty neutral. I think I could be wrong. There's actually a website called allsides.net, and they give you like a list of different articles. What's on the left, in the center, and in the right. So check that out. But anyways, the whole point of our shoutouts was there's a lot of outrage news and negative news out there. And so our goal is to
spread a little love
into our sadly very negative world right now. And hopefully it can bring a smile to all of your faces as well. And so that's
a great way to show what other countries are doing as well and highlight
absolutely
other countries. Because that's also a goal of our podcast, is to show that people do stuff outside the United States. Who knew?
Right. And that's the thing. We're trying to raise some awareness for learning languages, how to overcome difficulties when you travel or move to a different place, and also just bring some sunshine into your day. It's pretty simple. Simple as that. We really have to say we're so thankful for all of your support. We really love and enjoy doing this. I always am so excited.
Sorry,
you betcha.
I meant to hit that one.
I always look forward to when we can record some podcasts. So what I'd like to do now is go through some of our different episodes, and maybe we can give our listeners out there for this episode just some quick spark notes or cliff notes. Jared, what do you think?
Sure.
So I guess the first one that I would like to talk about is budget travel, because I think this was a popular one and a useful one. What are some of your tips, Jared, or what did we discuss on the budget travel episode?
Oh, geez. Why? I don't like this already.
All right, here, I'll start.
I barely remember as soon as we...
One of the things we discussed was when to book flights, and especially when to fly out and when to fly in. And generally speaking...
Oh, yes. Yes. Okay.
Okay, do you want to take it?
No, that's just coming back to me now.
Yep. Generally speaking... Go ahead.
The best time to book a domestic flight, is 2 weeks beforehand. On a Tuesday or Wednesday, but mostly Tuesday. The worst time is any time on the weekend. The best time to book an international flight is 4 to 6 weeks in advance.
Right.
You like to use Skyscanner. I use Skyscanner. I use Kayak, sometimes Expedia. I like to compare.
Jared likes those flight alerts.
I do. Yeah, I like the torture of a travel alert. All right, what else is there? I'm the worst
So for
memory.
budget travel tips, I would say also use Airbnbs, hostels, but be careful. I actually will be going to Prague this weekend for my Fulbright's final meeting, and I looked and I wanted to get there on Friday so I could see some friends, and the Airbnbs were all about $60 for one night. I got a hotel for $35.
Nice.
So sometimes I prefer Booking.com to use hotels. And then the other thing too for budget traveling, I don't know if we said this in the episode, but another thing that I would suggest for our listeners is try to pack clothing that you can, one, layer, and two, you can reuse with a bunch of different outfits, right? If you have a bright pink pair of pants that you can only wear with one or two shirts, I wouldn't bring them. Jeans or khakis or chinos go with so many different things. Bring stuff that matches with a bunch of different items, and then you can pack a little bit lighter and hopefully save some money on any baggage overage fees. Now granted, we will not be able to get into every episode today, but I've tried to pick some that were ones that I've really enjoyed, and we hope that you all have as well. And so another one that was really, really fun was talking about Michigan, episode 58, The Mitten. Yeah. And some suggestions that we gave, or at least I think I mentioned, you have to try Faygo soda when you go to Michigan.
Okay.
And Verner's.
Yes.
which I'm sure my parents will have some Vernors in the fridge.
You betcha.
When I get back. What are some other things
I'm so
you
excited
have to
to go
do?
back to Michigan.
Right. What are some other things you should do in Michigan, Jared?
Some other things to do in Michigan. If you go at the right time, I would say going to an apple orchard is unbeatable. Get some of those donuts. I would say, I don't even remember what we. My memory is so bad. Like after I do these episodes, it's almost like it just immediately leaves my head. Another thing I love about Michigan. I mean, I don't know if this is something that just your average person can do, but is the easy access to lakes. That was always fun. And you always, or at least I always knew at least someone that had like a boat or something. I'm a huge fan of Michigan beers. I like Bell's a lot. That's probably one of my favorites. Man, just talking about this is getting me excited. Because we have Bell's here, but it's so expensive. I'm looking at these episodes, too. This was back in the day where we gave no regard to how long our episodes would be. Episode 57 was 2 hours and 20 minutes. That Michigan one was 2 hours and 6 minutes. 59 was 2 hours. 60 was an hour and 55. 61 was 2 hours and 3 minutes. 2 hours 17. Man.
We were trying to go Joe Rogan style, I guess, even though that's 3 hours. But yeah,
he had some that long too.
And I think that's the thing is that we try to bring to you guys, content that's very authentic to us. That we feel that we know enough about where we can actually bring you some solid content and give you some good advice and good tips. Which brings me to my next one, which is language mistakes. And so language mistakes for me, that's episode 71, was a fun episode because we talked about, different words and phrases and things that people tend to mess up. One of the biggest mistakes that I've noticed here in the Czech Republic is using English articles. And for those of you who don't know what an English article is, it's words like the, a, and an. And many languages, believe it or not, do not have articles. So in Czech, they don't have articles. So if you say, I want a beer, you just say, I want beer, right? Well, you would say one beer. You wouldn't say a beer, you would say one beer, right? But, we would say, like, there is a beer on the table, right? They would just say there is beer on the table, or there is one beer maybe. But there's no the article in Czech. So many Czech students that I've had really have a lot of difficulty knowing when to use the, and it's hard to explain because it doesn't really have very much meaning, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So that was a
Spanish,
big
though. It
mistake.
seems like they use the a lot.
Yeah, same with German.
Yeah,
Same with German.
That's true.
So it really depends. Another favorite episode of mine was episode 73, Tips for New Teachers. And
did quite well, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, but that was
I did not know that. Interesting.
The people like that one.
Okay, and see, the thing is that we also want to support not only people who want to be educated about culture and language, but also the educators of these people as well. And, I really love teaching. It's a lot of fun. It's a very rewarding job. I think it's safe to say, though, most people don't get into teaching for the salary. That's not why you do it. You do it because you love it, and you want to make a positive impact on people's lives. And so some tips for new teachers that I remember giving were you don't want to overplan. And I think this is also very applicable in life in general. Wouldn't you say, Jared?
Yeah, I would say so. There's a point where you might be doing yourself more of a disservice than a service. Like in college, when I used to take tests, I would study all night long, and it got to a point where I was probably doing more of a disservice by not getting a good night's sleep versus actually retaining new information.
Exactly. And it's so easy to also try to lesson plan, or even plan your schedule down to the last minute. And you know what? For some people, that might work great. I personally can't do that. I actually today, it was kind of funny. And this is when you get comfortable as a teacher. I threw 2 lesson plans just basically out the window. Not literally, but figuratively today. I just had my paper open the window, just threw the papers out the window.
You got to be dramatic for the class so the kids know how serious you are.
That's right. I defenestrated Those lesson
Wow.
plans.
Quite a word.
A little fancy word to throw.
You should be in a spelling bee, a script spelling bee.
Clearly at the top of this show proves not. But so that's the other thing, is to be a good teacher, I think, or to be really good in any field, regardless, you need to be flexible. Now, I don't mean that you should be taken advantage of or be too much of a softie, but I think there's a healthy balance of being understanding, being flexible, and also knowing when people might be taking advantage of you in that regard.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I have some favorite episodes that just come off the top of my head.
Let's hear them.
One of them was the fast foods around the world. I love that episode. I thought that was interesting hearing like their versions, and that's, people call me Mick Minor, and that's kind of where that came from. Me laughing at all the different foods on the Dutch McDonald's menu.
Right.
Another one I really enjoyed was the Life of a Traveler and Flight Attendant with Annabelle.
Annabelle, that was great.
That is something that I've always wanted to do, is pick the brain of flight attendant.
And hopefully we'll have her on again, because I think she said she's hoping to get up to 60 or 70 countries. I don't remember.
Oh, nice.
But
nice.
yeah. So
In
she's
Michigan?
really a travel pro. What? Is
In Michigan?
I could see.
Okay.
I could see.
I also liked, I like all the ones with the guest. I liked
guests
having
are
David
a lot
on.
of fun.
We've had David on a couple times, but specifically the first one when we talked about his experience in Russia.
That was
that's
really
another
enlightening.
thing that I don't know about you, but I didn't really know anything about.
Right.
And I enjoyed Michael Gypstrom. That was a lot of fun too. That was the first time like we had a guest that wasn't just one of our friends on.
Right.
And I don't know. I was wearing a blazer, I think, or some sweater or something.
I had the blazer. You were wearing a button down.
I was sweating like a mofo though, just out of nervousness. And then obviously Ravi and Joanna Jenkins as well. I think not that any of these people will listen to this, but Joanna Jenkins, I think, is.
Why do you always say that?
No, any of our guests is what I'm saying. I'm not saying anyone is going to listen to it. I meant any of the guests that I just named. Joanna Jenkins, I think, was my favorite by far. We still talk about her all the time, and
She's
just
great.
the way that like we got hooked up with her through my piano teacher was a fun little situation, and I think she sort of best also represents maybe not what we want to do with our life, but certainly something that I think is a goal in my life. Maybe not to live abroad for the rest of my life like that, but but for me to go back and live abroad and really get immersed like she is, I think is awesome, and that's I think one of the most unique perspectives we've gotten on really one of the main goals of our podcast here.
Mm-hmm. And she's such a well-spoken, intelligent woman as well. It's so great to have her on the podcast as well. Definitely, yeah. The guests have been fun, and we're looking forward in the next 100 episodes or more to bring plenty of other guests your way as well.
Yeah.
One that I really enjoyed hearing was your international school experience. I think there's a lot of people out there that can relate to it because it's such a different environment than my school time. When I was in school, I was at a public school. The diversity, I'm doing air quotes for diversity right now, the diversity we had was more or less the foreign exchange students and the 3 black kids and a couple Asian kids, and that's it.
Right.
So it was not very diverse. That's what happens when you're kind of out in where the foxes go say goodnight or in the middle of nowhere.
I grew up in Clarkston, and that's kind of where the foxes say goodnight as well. So I definitely understand. And I would have been one of those 3 black kids or 4 black kids if I would have just stayed where I was.
Right.
And that's why I really appreciated that experience, because it gave me a whole new sort of appreciation of people and just like a whole new aspect of life that before then I was one of those, I still am to a certain extent, but I was one of those quote unquote ignorant Americans that we always talk about.
Right.
Granted, I was 11, but
you still had a lot of life to experience at that point. That's for
exactly.
sure.
But it definitely gave me a whole new aspect on life that I think was invaluable.
Oh, absolutely.
I have some potential topics that I've been thinking about.
Ooh, let's hear them.
Every now and again, you recommend a topic that we should do in the future, and I think it's a good topic, but it makes me nervous because it requires actual like knowledge.
Months of research and knowledge?
No, not months of research, but like getting into more serious or political topics. Like you talk about racism or certain political aspects of different countries. Those make me nervous. Just because, like, we already sound like idiots when we're talking about stuff, and I can only imagine.
Speak for yourself, buddy. Speak for yourself.
Although there's one thing that I did want to bring up. Did you hear? This is very Untranslatable Podcast related. New rules on American travel to Cuba.
Oh yeah, they're starting to make it more strict again, or even reinstate the travel ban or whatever?
Yeah, I can read a little bit from the New York Times here. I have the article up. The Trump administration on Tuesday, Tuesday meaning June 4th, imposed new restrictions on Americans going to Cuba, banning the most common way Americans travel to the island. Beginning on Wednesday, the 5th, the United States will not permit group educational and cultural trips known as people-to-people trips to the island unless they were booked before June 5th. The Treasury Department said in a statement, nor will it allow cruises, private yachts, or fishing vessels to stop in Cuba. Group people-to-people trips have been used by thousands of American visitors. The move left tour companies and cruise lines assessing the impact and how they might have to modify their operations in Cuba. And so, yeah, this was something that that was just sort of newly available since Obama was in office. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I think that's one of Trump's greatest platforms is just reversing everything Obama did just because
which is a shame. Yeah, it's a shame. Yeah, and Annabelle, one of our guests, actually spoke so highly of Cuba, and I would love to go visit it.
Yeah.
But that's a bummer. That's a bummer. And that's the thing. I think there's the beauty of what we try to do here is I think there will always be something that we can discuss because there's unlimited opportunities when it comes to learning about culture, traveling, learning languages, and all that good stuff as well. So what are some other topic ideas you have, Jared, for the future?
What various countries consider luxuries, the luxuries of various countries.
Oh, that's a good one. That would be fascinating.
So I think a lot of luxuries that we consider here in the U.S. are very product-based or monetary.
Oh, yeah, I would agree.
But I think, in some, for example, Latin American or African countries, for example, a luxury might be way more family-based rather than monetarily based. So that was an idea. Dating in different cultures. What's that like? What's
definitely
the
want to
protocol?
do that one. Yep. Have you? I'm just curious. I'm going to put you on the spot, Jared. Have you actually ever dated a girl from a different culture?
No. They've all been Americans.
Okay. Did I ever tell you? I used to get teased in high school because my first serious girlfriend I had was German. Second, she wasn't serious, but girl I was seeing was French. So German, French. Then I dated another German girl my senior year of high school. Then you remember freshman year at Albion. I was talking to that French TA at Albion for a little bit.
Yeah, I remember her.
Good times.
What were they? What would be the how would they be teasing you? What's to be made fun of about that? Maybe they should look inward.
Right, no kidding. They were basically like, "Oh, you're never gonna date an American girl. You'll never marry an American girl."
You're like, hopefully,
right. But see, my thing was too when I was in high school. I had lived in Dexter. I moved there when I was like 5 or 6 years old. I'd been there my whole life. All the girls that, I would have maybe potentially been interested in dating, we'd been friends for so long. It's like, well, do you try to actually date and ruin a friendship or just stay friends? You know?
Right.
And there were no girls in my high school that I was so into that I thought I would rather not be friends with them so I could date them. If that makes sense.
I guess so. I did have a crush on a French girl in high school, but she didn't really, I don't know if those feelings went both ways.
You didn't flex your soccer skills? Show off your nice calves?
Oh, I thought you were going to say your French skills, and I think that might have been part of the problem.
Right. Oh, but see, it's weird. Like the German girls I dated, the first one I dated, it started off as like a pen pal thing, actually. It sounds really stupid, but it was a pen pal kind of thing. I wanted to improve my German. I jokingly told my German cousin, like, "Oh, you should introduce me to a cute German girl." she's like, well, here's a cute
one.
German girl right here. And so we started writing, and it started off, my German wasn't great. So it started off, a couple sentences here and there, how are you? What do you like to do for fun? Things like this. And then she called me on Halloween. Actually, my cousin called me, and I talked to her. Shout out to Katarina, if you're listening to this. And she does listen once in a while, Jared, believe it or not. And so what's funny is she talked to me on the phone on Halloween, if I remember correctly. Like, it was until my cousin's phone, this was back when we used landlines instead of cell phones.
Right.
And the phone started beeping because the battery was dying. So, and then ever since
that's
then,
a fancy landline though. That was a cordless.
It was cordless. Yeah, for sure. And we would talk every Saturday for a couple hours on end. And I gotta say, I have to really credit her for helping me so much with my German. And I always jokingly tell my students, if you want to become fluent in a language, date somebody from that country. Where
Sounds
you're
like you need to
forced
find
speak
someone new, because sounds like you're slipping over there.
Right, I guess. Yeah, my check is not where it needs to be. Maybe that's because I haven't been dating any Czech girls while
I
I'm
meant
here.
the German. You said you're talking to someone in German.
Yeah.
But I guess you could do that too.
That's true. But yeah, that would be a fun one. Dating in different cultures. I will say, not to already ruin the episode before we do it, but I don't think it's that different. I think there might be some cultural subtleties in courtship, but I think generally speaking, the more I learn when I travel is we're all the same.
Right.
We might look different. We might have different values. At the end of the day, we're all the same. We all put our pants on the same way. Unless you jump into them with a fancy mechanism, but I put mine on one leg at a time.
I think there's a Fairly Odd Parents episode where that happens. There's that goes back to Song of the Pod, Joanna Jenkins' Song of the Pod, Ain't No Color But the Blues, where she's essentially saying that, like, we all feel things the same way. We all have the same emotions. And it's like, yeah, you might approach something slightly differently, but if you get broken up with, or if you lose your job or whatever, everyone is reacting generally. No one's breaking up with someone they're in love with and being like, whoa, what a blessing, this is great. Or no one's like losing a job and being like, finally, now I'm free or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, actually, people do that, but you know what I mean. Like, if you need it, let's put it that way.
Exactly. Exactly.
And one more that this is more of a near future. I guess the moving back home episode's a near future too. It's only a month away, but
less than a month. Well, for you it's a month. For me it's less than a month.
Yeah, but I guess I'll be back before I start my new job on the 8th. I'm not moving back on the 8th, so
should get back on the 2nd or the 3rd. Just saying.
I'll see what I can do. Yeah, we could do a very fresh return home.
If I can stay awake from the jet lag.
And one that I'm not saying I will do this, but I would like to do this. I have a month of now fun employment. Now that I know I'm not going to be unemployed forever, I would like to do an on the road again before I start my job up.
You should.
Brad, and I considered either a road trip somewhere. Or Brad lives in South Carolina, and he recently bought a new house. Congratulations. And he's been wanting me to visit, but I couldn't bring myself to buy a plane ticket somewhere without having a job. It just seemed irresponsible.
Yeah.
And so now I might look up flights. I guess I haven't talked to him, so he doesn't know this. But
surprise.
Hey, Brad, I'm coming your way. So I might look up flights to South Carolina, and maybe we can do a Charleston on the road again or something.
Oh, that'd be sweet. One episode I'd like to do in the future, especially after I move back, is reverse culture shock. And reverse culture shock is when you return home, wherever home may be, or return to the culture where you were raised in and grew up in from a different culture. Because there are different difficulties and challenges every time you move to a different place or if you move back. And for me, I think it will be twofold reverse culture shock. One, it will be back in the States, where I'll have to drive a car almost everywhere. But also for me, it's nothing against my parents. I love them to death, but I'll be living with my parents for almost 2 months. Yeah. And that's a big change too, going from my own comfortable apartment here in Chomutov to back with mom and dad.
There's nothing wrong with being a little concerned about that because, yeah, of course you love them and all, but you're also too old to still be living at home. I mean, obviously this is temporary until you go on to your next thing, but it is sort of a... I remember when I graduated college and I moved into a new apartment with Don in August. And so I had, 3 months living at home. and it was a little exhausting at times because like you feel like, all right, now I'm an adult, now I'm making a real person's money and I have a real job, but you still have you're like, and it's not even my parents' fault, I can't really blame them, but there's still that natural parenting in them where it's like, when are you getting home, what are you doing, who are you going to be hanging out with? It's like, hey, don't worry about it, I'm a man. Like SpongeBob holding up his little razor.
That's right. Then you still want those grandma's cookies for our SpongeBob listeners out there. You still want those grandma's, or it's grandma's kisses. Well, it's the cookies and the kisses, I think, right?
I am a man. So I understand that struggle, and even though it wasn't like I had anything against them, I did have this strong feeling that, like, man, I got to get out of here. Like, as my time, I've lived here long enough.
Right. It's part of growing older. It's part of the process. There's nothing you can do. Which I think would also be a fun episode to do would be different living situations. Living with roommates, living obviously alone. Living alone while you live abroad can be one of the most humbling, but also gratifying experiences you can ever have. And what's interesting, so also related to this book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, one thing that Mark Manson says is, and I'm probably going to read this book like 4 or 5 times. That's how much I love it. It's fantastic.
Wow.
There's so many gems in this book. But the thing is he says that happiness does not actually come from pleasure. Pleasure is just kind of a short-term happiness, right?
That's like the sugar, the candy of happiness.
Right. True happiness comes from overcoming problems. And one of the proudest moments I had here, which sounds really stupid, but I'm going to tell you and tell our listeners anyways, is so I was at home alone in my apartment. This was actually 40 minutes before we were supposed to record an episode. I turned on the lights in my corridor. There was a flash and my power went out.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And I was like, shit, what am I going to do? I'm not going to record in the dark. I don't have internet right now. And so I have 2 fuse boxes at my apartment here. I have one inside the apartment. And there's another one on the outside, which I think is like the main breaker for the entire apartment. But the thing is, I didn't have the screwdriver to open it. And I thought, okay, I could call my mentor, make her drive 10 minutes from her village over here just to bring me a screwdriver. Or I could try to be a fucking adult and solve this my own way. So what I did was I thought, okay, well, I've seen my neighbors before. They know who I am. They know I live here. They know I'm not Czech. So I knocked on the door, and my wonderful neighbor, she opened up the door. And I had pulled up my Google Translator and said, "Do you have a screwdriver?" I don't remember what the Czech was now. It was like mate. I don't remember, but do you have a screwdriver? And then I said, what did I say? I said, "Ne, mom, I don't have," which you should know that one, Jared. And I said, "I don't have electricity."
Mate Shrobovak.
Shrobovat.
Yeah, Shrobovak with the K.
Oh, Shrobovak. Okay, yeah. Mate Shrobovak. And I said, "Yeah, I don't have electricity." And she opened it, and I clicked the breaker, and I got it to work. And then we went on to record our podcast. And I know that story sounds so stupid, right? I mean, if you were back in the States, if I was back in the States at home, it's a given. I can ask my neighbor for a screwdriver and fix this, no problem. But when you're in a foreign country, the smallest little things, going to the grocery store, and this happened to me as well while I was here. Went to the grocery store to buy milk. It was like buttermilk or kefir or something different because I went to pour it in my cereal and it was all thick and it was sour. And so these small little basic things that you take for granted at home, you don't take for granted when you're abroad because you can't, right?
Yeah.
There's just going to be scenarios where it will be difficult, right? I'm going to knock on my wood table right now that I haven't lost anything important or had anything stolen, because that's a whole nother can of worms to open to try to get figured out.
We know friends that have lost passports or while abroad.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's quite the headache.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
And so living abroad, if you can do it, I think everyone should take the opportunity and try to live either with a roommate or alone abroad. I think it's really useful to be able to be by yourself and not be bored all the time, right? I really love the solitude I have here. I really love being able to read when I want, play guitar when I want, took a wonderful nap today, do what I want, right? And you really never experience that full independence if you're always living with a roommate or always living with your parents. So if you have that opportunity, to our listeners out there, take it. You will not regret it.
Yeah, I very much enjoy my alone time, almost to a aggressive degree. Listening to you talk about all of that stuff, I completely agree with the finding the challenges and facing challenges, and also moving to a new place. When I moved here to Philadelphia 4 years ago, I related to a lot of what you were just saying. Now, obviously, as far as stores go, there's a lot of similarity. There are a lot of stores in Philadelphia that we also have in Michigan. And also I speak the language, so it's not like I can't communicate with anyone. But I still do understand that feeling of having to learn a new area, that transition of a place becoming a home, which I think took years for me. Like, I think it took 2 years for me to, be able to go around Philadelphia without having to use navigation for everything,
Right.
Or just sort of getting that routine. And also that solitude, because this was my first time really being alone like that, is why I started playing piano. It was something that I always kind of thought in the back of my head would be cool to do. But it's like, well, I'm here alone on a weekend with no friends. How about I find something to do better than like watching Netflix or just sitting around? And so it's like, how can I actually keep myself active, mentally or physically, whatever it is, and not just sort of feel like I'm wasting away here. And so because of all this, I'm now very excited for our homecoming episode. I think it'll be very interesting for both of us to be coming home from, mine was longer, but yours was also way more of a cultural shift. So I think for us to come back from pretty drastic differences in our situation will be very interesting to compare how we both deal with that.
Absolutely. And the other thing is I want all of our listeners to understand that I think another reason why we do this podcast is so they understand that we're just like you guys. We're pretty damn normal guys, we love learning languages. Yeah, we love to travel. But we go through all the same problems and issues that all of you have. And we hope that we can use this platform as well to bring some of those to light. I've gotten some comments from our listeners out there that have said, it's really nice to hear some of the problems we've been going through where people can relate to them. Right. And I think that's really important because especially in my case, I've had a lot of ups here. I've had a lot of great things, but I've also had a lot of downs here. And it's good to have people that you can talk about those things, relate to them. And, we really hope that we can use this platform to help you guys overcome your travel fears, be able to go on trips, even though, you may not be making a ton of money. One of the things we mentioned was do like a gas tank trip, which basically means if you have a car, you hop in your car and you go as far as that one tank of gas will take you. Or if you can only afford one tank of gas, go halfway and halfway back.
Yeah, make sure it's half though.
Exactly. But there are so many beautiful things out there that we can all love and enjoy and experience, and we hope to give you all some nice ideas for those as well. Speaking of piano playing, though, Jared, and music making, I also hope in the future we can add some more music to our podcast and do some jams. When we're back in Michigan, oh, man.
I'll bring the keyboard over.
Oh, man. It'll be so great. And it was funny. I was actually thinking about writing...
We don't have to use both Skype and FaceTime to try to make it work simultaneously.
Exactly. And the other thing is, too, I've been thinking about when I come back, I actually wrote a bucket list. And I'll share that with you and the listeners when we do that episode.
Okay.
My bucket list of stuff to do.
Oh, I'm excited.
This changes the game, though, you being back. It really changes the game.
Yeah.
But one of my things on my bucket list is find some new people to jam with. The only thing I'm sad about is because I'll be going to a new and undisclosed destination. I'm worried I'm going to start to jam with people, and it will be really super awesome. and then it will be really hard to go to my next destination. But that is life. That's what happens when you're a traveling English
if you
teacher.
want to get paid, it won't be that hard.
Right. That's true. That is very true. So yeah. But speaking of music, Jared, how about we talk about our song of the pod for today?
You betcha. Let's do it.
So our song of the pod for today is a very special song for me. It's by a group called Elephants Everywhere, and the name of the song is All I Want Is You. And before I tell my the kind of background to the story, I want to get your thoughts, Jared, on the music itself.
So it's got like electronic, and I don't think there's any other lyric except for All I Want Is You or everything, whatever it's called. What is it called again? I already forgot.
All I Want Is You.
All I Want Is You. But it's got a good vibe to it. I'm actually kind of surprised that you recommended this song to me. This sounds like something Rockman would recommend, and you would be like, I don't want to listen to this.
Really? This to me doesn't sound anything like that.
I was kind of joking. Rockman's is way more like oots, oots, oots kind of stuff. But I was surprised. I'm surprised that you recommended this just because it doesn't sound like your usual vibe to me. But it's very chill. I like it. I'm not going to say I probably wouldn't listen to it because that's not what I mean. But mostly I do like songs with more lyrics in them in general. But I do like it, and it does sound nice. And it's got a very electronic sound to it. But I am surprised that you recommended it.
Okay, well, I like to be full of surprises, number one, Jared. But number two, so the story behind this, first of all, it actually has a really cool guitar intro, and it has nice guitar throughout the track.
I don't think I even noticed that.
And I actually know the guitar player personally. I studied with him at Albion.
Oh, do I know him?
Yeah, he's a buddy named Sean. Sean, I believe it's Sean Bartoshuk, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember that name.
And he was a guitar major with me. And actually, it's funny. Maybe I can dig it. I'll see if I can dig it up, and I'll send it your way, Jared. There is an old picture of me when I was a freshman at Albion College. And Sean and I were actually on the poster for one of the music concerts at Albion at the time.
Oh, okay.
And I have to say, I have a lot of respect for all of the guys I studied with at Albion. They were all fantastic guitar players. But Sean always had really, really great phrasing and just like a really good ear. And I know that sounds very... That almost doesn't really sound like a compliment because, most musicians should have a very good ear. That's a very generic, bland statement. But like his timing was always really good. He always had really fresh ideas when we would like play music together. And what was really funny is my senior year of Albion, I spent a lot of time in the, we had like this little music computer lab, which is where... we had computers with like a music notation software so you could write music and do all this stuff. We even had some basic recording stuff. Well, every Thursday I was there, and I would go there, and Sean almost religiously was in there with his MacBook recording stuff, and he would play me some stuff once in a while, and I was always just really impressed by his taste in mixing really cool guitar lyrics, really guitar riffs. I can't talk right now. Really cool guitar riffs paired with really interesting electronic music in the background.
So is this all him?
It's him and another guy. I don't know the other guy.
Okay.
But yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. Check out their album. It's called Slow Circles. It came out fairly recently, I think a few weeks ago.
It's on YouTube. They put it on YouTube literally a week ago.
So there you go. And the reason why I like it is it's this really cool mixture of electronic and really cool guitar riffs and stuff, which is great. And the other reason why I like it too is it like the music just has a lot of kind of different, I don't know what the right term is, like a different aura, a different vibe. They're all kind of electronic, but they're all kind of different.
I'm going to listen to the whole thing because it's only 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Give it a listen. You will not be disappointed. And another reason I wanted to share this as well is, I've been there when, I don't know how long Elephants Everywhere has been a group and all that, but I know what it's like when you're getting started, and it can be very difficult. And, I would love him to get some more...
getting started here.
We're definitely still getting started, but I would love to give him the recognition he deserves for this really wonderfully crafted music. And I'll take a look later. I'm trying to find the photo, but I can't find it. But I'll take a look later and see if I can find it. So yeah, so check that out. Elephants Everywhere. All I Want Is You. Let us know what you think. You can check it out on our Twitter, Untranslatable1, or our YouTube. I really can't talk today. Our YouTube, Untranslatable Podcast, with all of our other songs of the pod. So, Jared, it's time for our check word of the pod, and mine is stow.
Dough?
Stow. S-T-O.
Stow. 100.
Yeah, that was 100 right there. Very good, Jared. 100.
Mine, now I consider doing that because I actually just learned numbers the other day.
Oh, nice.
100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, and then mil is 1,000. But none of those are my Spanish words.
Okay, let's hear your Spanish word.
I was just flexing a little bit. I'm learning, people.
Right.
Escuchar.
Oh, wait. Oh, I've heard escuchar.
Escúchame. We have a podcast here, and we hope that we have people that are happy to escuchar. Well, I guess.
Oh, listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen. Okay. Escuchar. Yeah, that's right. See, that's the bad thing when you start learning a language and then you kind of take a break for a while. You'll hear words that you're like, yep, I should know what that means, but you forget them.
I mean, that's me with German all the time nowadays.
Right. Well, Jared, it's time for some of the corniest jokes I could find, so I hope you're ready.
Okay.
So, Jared, why can't your nose be 12 inches long?
Because I'm not a liar. I only tell the truth.
No, Pinocchio, it's because then it would be a foot.
Oh. That's a real giant right there.
I tried to find as many giases as I could. Why did the yogurt go to the museum?
I don't know why.
Because it was cultured.
Oh man, I was trying to think. I was trying to think of like curdle, but I guess that's culturing. Or like this. I was like, does yogurt turn into cheese?
Right. Why did the fish get bad grades?
Oh, I know exactly why.
Why?
Because it dropped out of school.
Oh, that's a good one. My punchline though is because it was below sea level.
Because fishes travel in schools.
Yeah. That's why I said that was a good one. Yeah,
just making sure. I don't. It's always better when you explain your joke, Jared.
Right. Right. Where did the cow take his date?
Where?
To the movies.
Oh, that was awful.
What do you call?
That one actually kind of made me mad.
Right. What do you call a group of unorganized cats?
Litterers.
A catastrophe.
Ah.
And my last one for you. Why does Snoop Dogg use an umbrella?
I don't know why.
Faux drizzle.
Ah, man. How did I not think of it?
I don't know. I thought you would. I really thought you would. Well, Jared, it's time for us to recap. And, I think it's difficult to break down 100 episodes into one, especially when we've had a couple of them that have been over 2 hours. But I think my biggest takeaway from this is that there's just so much out there that we can experience and do and figure out what you like, what you don't like. And I think learning languages and traveling is a great way to do this. And that's really why we try to bring episodes out for everyone out there. You can flex at your dinner parties with a couple weird untranslatables. Maybe someone tells a joke and it's really not a good one. It's a Chad-style joke. And then you can say, well, that's a gias. People are like, what is that? And you explain it. They're like, wow, what a cultured lad, right? No kidding. But I think the first 100 episodes has been a lot of fun. It's been a great learning experience, and we really appreciate all of you being along for the ride.
Yeah, I've definitely learned a lot. I've learned a lot not only about languages and travel and all that stuff and music. I learned a lot about music. Somehow we turned into a podcast that now only exclusively searches for musicians to be on our podcast.
Right.
But
we
I've
need to
also-
change that a little bit.
I've also even learned a lot about just like the technical aspect of it. Like I never knew how to do any of this stuff before. And now when I listen to other podcasts, it blows my mind at some of the sound quality because I'm like, Chad and I did this on a super limited budget, and I think it sounds pretty good. So I have really enjoyed that part of it too.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's been great. It really has been. So we appreciate all of your support in these last 100 episodes. We're looking forward to bringing you all many, many more. Let us know if there are any topics, untranslatables, or anything else you would like us to discuss. And we would be happy to discuss them. We've already got some things in the works in the future, so we're really looking forward to it. We thank you all so much once again for not only your support by listening, but also following our Instagram page, Untranslatable Podcast. Check out our Twitter for Songs of the Pod, Untranslatable1, and our website for a list of plenty of great, useful, and entertaining untranslatables at untranslatablepodcast.com. Check it out. We would really appreciate it. And lastly, do not forget 5-star reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. We would really appreciate it. It would make our day. So we hope we made your day with this episode. And as we say here at the Untranslatable Podcast, Yakuyame a muchas gracias.